Whether we wanted it or not, we've stepped into a war with the Cabal on Mars. So let's get to taking out their command, one by one. Valus Sta'arik. From what I can gather, he commands the siege dancers from an Imperial land tank outside of Rubicon. He's well protected. But with the right team, we can punch through those defenses, take this beast out, and break their grip on Freehold.
Hey guys, it's SDG, and welcome to a video that I've been promising for a very long time. This is my review of Destiny. Now, to give you guys some background on what's been going on, this game's fun as hell. I'm like, that's just, the review's done. There, finished, done. No, I'm kidding. But this game is fun. Like, really fun. Like, almost addictively fun. Think WoW for the more casual, hardcore FPS player. And that's what this is. I've seen a lot of reviews for this game. Like, a lot. Regular people reviews, famous YouTube reviews, people from Kotaku, Polygon. I've seen a dozen reviews for this game. And there's plenty wrong with this game. But there's plenty more right. And the one thing that I've seen above all else is the game is addictive. Because the one thing everyone keeps saying is, even though this game has its faults, and some of them are major, you can't stop playing it. I'm like, it's just that fun. I'm like, the game feels all kinds of a lot to things here, there, and everywhere. But we're going to get right into it in a few seconds. Alright, so let's jump right into a couple of base things. This game is generally fun. Now, I know I've said that numerous different times since we started talking about a minute or so ago, but it really is, and it's fun for a great many reasons. But this game is just fun at its basis level. I'm like, what they took is they took a formula and they extrapolated on it, and it turned out really good, and that was the formula for Halo. Now, there's a lot that is Halo in this game, and that's good and bad, but some people might disagree with me, but the way I see this game is more of a faster Halo. Think about what happens when you mix like time to kill for a Call of Duty with the slower speed of Halo, and they had a baby, and this is what it would be. There's a very good common ground for speed in this game, and that's what I like. Because you know, I've been a huge Halo player forever. Love Halo. It's one of my favorite games, my game series. But this game gets it right. You can tell this game has been in development for a really long time. Now, what I like about this, another thing I like about this game is it's open world. You know what I mean? But it's not really that expansive. Now, when I say open world, I mean like a smaller sandbox than what you would be used to. We're not talking about like Left 4 Dead, or we're not talking about like any like those big zombie sandbox things like Skyrim. We're talking about a large space, but it's small enough so that it doesn't feel too large. The individual worlds are all expansive. Now, what they said is each world in this game, before it was released, was going to be bigger than Reach. Reach was huge, so I know what they meant. I'm like, because you can feel it. Each has a sense of weight and scale, but at the same time, it doesn't feel overbearing. Now, transition from one part of the board to the next part kind of makes it feel a little more like the Battlefield boards for Battlefield 3 and 4, where what the I believe is the Rush game type and the Conquest game type, where the boards are infinitely larger than they initially appear, and that's what it feels like to me. And I'm like, that works for this. I'm like, it's big without feeling overbearing, so you can definitely get from one place to the next and not take too long, but you definitely feel the time that it takes to get from one place to another. Now, the weapons, the weapons feel very satisfying. Okay, when you shoot a gun, you feel, I'm like, this take from a guy that shoots guns. These guns feel like they have some real virtual weight to them, you know what I mean? Whereas when I shoot the gun and I watch, let's say, a Cabal's head explode or their tube pop out of the side of their head, it feels very gratifying. And I'm like, and there's a couple different classes of weapons. I'm like, I know you, like most people played the game by now, but I'm still going to get into the nuts and bolts for those of you who haven't. There's a couple of different weapon types. There is the for primary weapons, we have your auto rifle. We have your... God, why am I drawing a blank here? We have your auto rifle. We have your hand cannon. We have your pulse rifle. And we have your scout rifle. Now, those... like a lot of Call of Duty players might not realize the name of these, but you've used these weapons. You've used these field weapons before. The pulse rifle is a 3-round burst, where the hand cannon is your basic revolver. The auto rifle is a regular assault rifle, your regular all-purpose assault rifle, and then you have the scout rifle, which is your single-shot marksman rifle. Now, easy to draw comparisons between those to other games, but like I said, it's really gratifying. Now, for the secondary weapons, you have the fusion rifle, you have the sniper rifle, and the shotgun. Right now, the fusion rifle is my favorite type, and we'll talk a lot more about these weapon types and classifications when we do part 2 of this video for PvP. But right now, once I figured out that pulse rifles were shotguns from a distance, it changed the way I played the game. So I'm geeking off of pulse rifles. Sniper rifles have their place in this game. They do huge amount of damage, especially to bosses. If you hit them, you headshot them, you stagger them, which is perfect, you know, when you're fighting that hard boss solo. So I recommend sniper rifles with low level zooms for everyone, because a lot of boss fights are in really close quarters, so you don't want the super long zooms, because that really won't help you too much. And for the final weapons, we have for final class, we have your heavy weapons. Now, your heavy weapons are your rocket launcher and your heavy machine gun. Now, the rocket launcher does exactly what you expect it to do. It's a rocket launcher. It blows up everything. But I personally prefer the heavy machine gun, because the heavy machine gun, I feel like I don't have to be limited to killing clusters of enemies. I can take out numerous enemies over the course of the entire playfield. And I'm like, listen, that's my personal preference. You might have a different one. Now, in this game, we have 4 mobs. Now, if you don't play games like WoW or Star Wars The Old Republic, or even Diablo, mobs are basically the NPC characters that you fight. And these mobs are generally intelligent compared to the other ones. Like, they dodge, they move away from grenades and stuff like that. I'm like, just like regular NPCs, they can be stupid at times, but they can be hard as hell too. I'm like, without even getting into the whole boss bullet sponge phenomena that you'll hear about a little later, at higher levels, these dudes take mountains of bullets to kill, even the regular people. I'm like, but they are generally cool and balanced depending on the level that you're running at the time. Now, we have 4 mobs. We have the Fallen, we have the Hive, the Vex, and the Cabal. The Fallen are your basic enemies. They show up right in the onset on Earth. Kind of reptilian looking, I think would be the way to put it. I would call the lowest class people, but they're some of my favorite. We have the Hive. Now, the Hive reminds me of the Flood from Halo. Oh God. The way that they send those, I believe, are thralls sprinting after you. They feel just like the Flood. I despise them. We have the Vex, which are techno-organics, if I'm not mistaken. And they teleport, which, of all the bad guys in this game, I hate the Vex, the absolute worst. They teleport and they will swarm you. Other people have more armor, better weapons, or whatever, but the Vex, the Vex will leave you vexed. Believe me, because you'll think you have it, and then a Minotaur will teleport right in your damn face, and he'll keep teleporting in your face and slapping you, because that's what they want to do. The Minotaurs don't want to hit you from a distance. They want to get up in your face. They keep hitting you, and they hit hard as hell. So stay away from the Minotaurs. Then you have the Cabal, which you finally meet on Mars. And the Cabal, yeah, they're just kind of these big brutes guy, but I find them to be easier than most of the other ones, with the exception of the Phalanxes. You'll see me struggling to kill Phalanxes here because of that huge shield they have. Now, the game can be a little disjointed at times, and that's because you have to, after every mission, there's no rolling right into the next mission. You have to come back out before you can actually go to another mission, because there's no roll. So you have to stop what you're doing at the end of every mission. You have to take that mandatory break, even if it's just to start to load up the next mission. And that gets on my nerves a little bit. I feel like I should be, for the story specifically, I should be able to roll right through the first time, and then after it's over, like normal, like most games, I should be able to stop and then go back and pick which mission by mission by mission. But that's just how I feel about it. Now, this game is an MMO light. That's what I classify it as. It's very grindy. I'm like, once you hit level 20, it's easy to get to level 24, 25, and 26. But anything above level 26, you will be fighting for. It took me forever to get to level 27. Now, keep in mind, I'm playing mostly solo when I join games where I can, because hilariously enough, I had a fire team for this game, but due to unforeseen circumstances, my fire team kind of disintegrated right at the beginning of the before the game really got going. So I've been doing a lot of solo, and because of that, it's really hard to grind out better gear to hit those higher levels, the 27, 28s, and 29, 30s. It's really hard. Something I didn't like, and I said this in my preview video, was the access to the late game content happens in about a week. And that's being all the way honest. You hit level 20 generally in about a week of solid play. Now, I didn't play every day during the first week, and I was level 20 in maybe 4 days. No, I'm sorry, that's a lie. Maybe 5. I was level 20. And I was like, that's not bad. But at the same time, I expect the level grind to be a little more intense. You know what I mean? Like the level grind specifically. I mean, this is an MMO light after all. I expected that, and I was prepared for that. I'm like, it's cool though, because you get to experience the late game content early, but what that does is there's not a big wind up to it. So what happens is you don't really, I don't know, but I mean, I didn't really feel like I earned that in-game content. You know what I mean? Like the ability to do so. I don't really feel like I earned that. I feel like I just got it, and it was like, okay, cool, you doing it now, congratulations. You know what I mean? And like, I don't really like that. I don't feel like I earned it. Like I said, level 26 to 30 grind is hard. Okay, people are complaining about this because it's so hard to get there. I'm like, because the system is based on light at this point. Once you reach past level 20 to get, you know, your effective levels, because the game caps out at level 20, and you want to be, you need light on your armor to raise your effective level all the way up to 30, and it's really hard from 26 to 30. Now, something I think this game is, let's get into this real quick. The game has matchmaking. You need Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus to do so. You know, that's normal. But the problem is there's not matchmaking for everything. Like the Nightfall raids, there's no matchmaking. For the Vault of Glass, there's no matchmaking. And I understand why you wouldn't want to do it with some of these people, because in these events, if people leave you, you're pretty much on your, randoms leave you, you're pretty much on your own, and they're almost impossible to do by yourself. Like the Vault of Glass is specifically impossible to do by yourself. You need at least 3. You need at least 6 people, because it's just that kind of hard. But I really think this game could benefit from LFG, which is look for group, and LFR, which is look for raid. These are 2 things that were in World of Warcraft, and they help, because sometimes you just don't have time to put together your whole guild to do these things, so you need help. And I'm like, yeah, you get somebody, get a couple people to come in and help you, but this would have to fundamentally change the way the raid system works and the group system works. Now, that might be something that'll happen later in the game, but it ain't gonna happen now. So we have 4 factions. We have the New Monarchy, Dead Orbit, Future War Cult, and from what we've been told, there'll be 5 total. And we think the next one coming is the Cult of Osiris. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Osiris in this game is Warlock. So I don't know how that's going to happen. Now, these guys, will talk more about them when it comes to PvP, because that's where their gear and stuff really comes in handy. So the next thing we're going to talk about is something we'll touch on for a quick second. We're going to talk about the raids and the strikes. Okay? Now, there's one raid currently, which is the Vault of Glass. I have no personal experience with this. I have not played it because, like I said, there's no LFR. So I don't have 6 people I can play with, and I get invites all the time. But when I get invites to do these raids, I'm always doing something, so I can't devote the time. And that's it's a crappy excuse, but it's honestly what's happening. I really have to find a group, and if you guys want to group up, I'm on 360. You know my gamer tag. Hit me up so we can play together. But now there's 4 strikes. There's 5 strikes. Excuse me. There's one on Earth, called the Devil's Lair. There's the Summoning Pits on the Moon. There's the Nexus and the Winter's Run on Venus. And there's Cerberus Bay 3, which is what you see me playing right now with Epic Boss and some random, I'm not sure who that is. And I'm like, I think these are the bread and butter of the game. These are fun. These are where you get good gear. These are where you get real challenges. You know what I mean? And the playlist for these is awesome. I love it. Because depending on how high you set the level, you can get better gear. This is where you want to go when you really want to get some decent gear, but you're a solo player like me. So I make the killing gear. Okay. All right. So I want to talk about a couple other small things real quick. So now I want to talk about the gamer culture. Now, this culture is weird for this game, and that's because this kind of game is kind of new to a lot of people. I'm like, there's no real way to talk to other people unless you're in like party chat, you know what I mean? Or if you're, I believe you can talk to people if you're playing a what's it called? A PvP. I'm not even 100% sure about that because I never hear other people, so I don't know. But yeah, unless you got a group of friends, this game is really quiet other than the bad guys. Now, they say they're going to fix that, and they're going to add limited voice support, but that's because they don't want people being griefed, and I understand that. But at the same time, this is the gamer culture. You got to deal with this. There's nothing you can do about it. So you deal with it. And there's no trading. I'm like, they made it very clear from the beginning. They want you to work for every piece of gear that you get. And it's like, I feel that, but at the same time, we worked hard for that gear, so we should be allowed to do what we want. Now that comes back to what they were working on with the whatchamacallit. That comes back to how they fixed the problem with the loot cave. Epic Boss got really upset when they patched the first loot cave. Now, not because it was easy to get loot, because realistically speaking, you get better loot doing different things. You don't get a whole lot of good loot from that. But it was, how do you don't give us all these tools to tell us how to play the game that you designed for us to play. Let us play it. You know what I mean? Another thing I want to talk about the game's public events. I want to give a blurb out to a website that I use. It's destinypublicevents.com. This will tell you when all the public events are coming. It works on a thumbs up system. So if you use the website to find out when they come, make sure you hit thumbs up to state that yes, it happens during that time. This will change over time with that way, because it's thumbs up system and it's like user generated basically. If Bungie changes the timers, we'll know about it. Next thing is there's a couple of special events that have happened so far. We have, and these one that happens like every week is Xur, which he has the legendary gear, or the not legendary, excuse me, the exotic gear that you can buy. I think Xur should go away. I think you shouldn't be able to buy that type of gear. I think you should have to earn it. That's just my personal feeling. I'm like, I think I bought something, but you know, that's just me being hypocritical. We have the Queen's Bounty would happen. I think that was a 2-week thing where you could earn weapons that were legendary weapons, but they were still basically about on par with the same weapons you can get. They didn't feel like new weapons. You know what I mean? It was just weapons you found during different means. And then we have the Iron Banner, which everyone knows was broken. I expected a bunch of disparity in the Iron Banner. I expected to get in there as a level 27 and destroy people, and I just physically couldn't do that because they still had balancing and normal zone, just in a different way, you know what I mean? So all the hard work I did grinding out for that was worth nothing. And then you don't get anything if you lose, which is, I can respect that, you know what I mean? You win, you get, you lose, you don't. So I totally respect that. Now, there's a bunch of other little MMO features in this game that I'm going to talk about real quick. We have The Gathering, and no, not the show or the movie. We are talking about actually real MMO stuff, like looking for items in the open world. So there's a couple different ones in a couple different places. On the Earth, we have Spin Metal. We have helium filaments on the moon, spirit bloom on Venus, and relic iron on Mars. Now, you see these a lot of time, people don't get them, but what you don't realize is you will need these to level up your items later in the game when you start getting legendary and exotics. You'll need these. I didn't realize that, so I sold all mine to get marks, and so I'm re-grinding all of that because I didn't realize that in the beginning. And then you have the ones that are like universal. We have weapons parts, ascended shards, and ascended energies. You'll need these for all the same things as well. Now for armor, then those are all for like weapons stuff. For armor, there's 3 specific gathering tools that gathering items that you get from deconstructing your gear. For hunters, it's sapphire wire. For Titans, it's plasteel plating, and for locks, it's Hardonic essence. Now, the game has a couple different kinds of currency. We have Glimmer, which is all-purpose. Use to buy that for everything. It's to upgrade your weapons, yada yada. I'm like, Glimmer's used for everything. You have Strange Coins, which is used to buy stuff from Xur. Now, there's easy ways to get these, and people have videos up everywhere how to get Strange Coins and Glimmer farms and everything like that. Now, Motes of Light are used for a couple different things. Sometimes they're used as parts of a quest. Sometimes you can use them to buy stuff from the speaker. That's the really cool gear. I just used the 23 that I had to buy a cool cloak from the speaker. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have those. Will come in handy soon, I'm sure. But for right now, they're not. And then we have 2 different types of marks. We have the Crucible Marks and the Vanguard Marks. Now, the Crucible Marks are to buy PvP gear. Now, this gear is, like I said, best in a PvP setting. I don't have a lot of PvP gear right now, so I couldn't tell you the true differences, but I know they're geared towards the Crucible and the Iron Banner. Now, Vanguard Marks are for PVE gear, which is what we've been talking about this whole time. And those marks give you those marks allow you to buy good PVE gear from the Vanguard Armory or from your Vanguard Mentor. Now, to talk about something that I touched on really quick earlier, let's talk about the Loot Cave. Now, the Loot Cave works if you're super low level. So anything under level 20, the Loot Caves that show up are your best friends. Don't listen to people tell you, do them if you have time. I'm like, you can grind a bunch of loot out in an hour or 2. But if you're like over 20, then the Loot Cave doesn't really hold anything for you. The rate at which legendary Ingrams drop, because there's no such thing as an exotic Ingram, if I'm not mistaken, but at the rate that legendary and rare Ingrams drop, it's just easier to do things like the Vault of Glass or any of the strikes, or hell, even just run around in free roam on patrol, and you'll wind up during the same amount of time risking about the same amount of items. But like I said, it's if you're low level, definitely do Loot Caves. If you're over level 20, don't do it. It's just better to do other things for it. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the content release schedule. So, I'm a little weird on this content release schedule. Now, from what I was told, if you buy the season pass, which came out with the game, that gave you not season pass, excuse me, and that's where I messed up at. With the season pass, you get all the content as it comes out. Now, there better be a lot of content. Now, the reason I said that is if there's not a lot of content, then this game is gonna have some longevity, but at the same time, it's gonna get a little bad because the game feels really grindy and repetitive as is, even though it's super fun. So you need a wide variety of content, or a new additional content, just to keep people interested. I'm talking. They need to add new everything. It's been 2 months and people are already mentally exhausted. Like, Epic Boss won't even play this game right now until like she really feels like there's something new and fun to do. She just checks in every now and then. And like I'm getting there myself. I'm like, I'm still having a great time with the game. I'm ready to roll up a new character just so I can, I think I'm gonna roll up I'm running Hunter right now if you can't tell. And I think I'm gonna roll up I was about to say Guardian, hilariously enough. I'm going to roll up a Titan, because I want a Defender Titan. You know what I mean? That just will help in some of this stuff. So, I'm like, the game still has numerous things to offer me. It's just, I really feel like there needs to be either more different types of events. I'm like, the Iron Baron was cool, the Queen's Bounty was cool, but we need either different types of events, or we need new boards and new missions and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Now, we saw there's been some leaks here and there about the stuff that's going to come out, but that's still stuff on the same planet. I think it's time to open up some more planets or some more areas. I'm like, it ain't got to be Mass Effect big, but damn it, give me some more. You know what I mean? And really, that's pretty much exactly what I have for this game. It's like, I love this game, and I am going to keep playing this game for its entire life cycle, most likely. This game will be all over my channel until the game gets so boring that it has to go. Until then, though, yeah, this game's gonna be all over my channel. So, get used to it and start enjoying it. And it looks like we're finally about to take them down. Like I told you, these guys are bullet sponges. It's crazy. So, that concludes my Destiny review. Now, I'm sorry you guys had to wait so long for it, but it's finally here. Now, there will be a part 2 to this review, which will cover PvP, which you can expect next week. So, this is SDG, and thanks for watching, guys. Once again, I'm sorry it took so long, but the next one will be even better. Catch you guys on the next side, and welcome to EPIC.